since GMOs are cheaper, they can help reduce poverty. And due to that, the government is practically sure about that the poor children are not responsible for getting born in poor families. Therefore, since they know that the GMOs are cheaper, but still they don't help poor families to give them like money and provide them houses.
GMOs, also known as genetically modified organisms, are food that is made with chemicals that genetic engineers make. GMOs are bigger, better, and cheaper. Since GMOs are cheaper, most poor people are able to afford it, reducing the amount of poor people, or at least them being able to afford an apple. Since there's also a water crisis, where water is running out, GMOs help reduce the amount of water being used. For example, 1 pound of chicken takes 500 gallons of water annually. Also, 1 pound of corn takes 110 gallons of water annually.
GMOs only take a little water and chemicals. The only drawback would be E. coli, which is a disease due to GMOs that can kill someone. This disease only affects people with weak immune system and ever so rarely happens. I mean, for poor people, would you get cheap food which may have the chance to kill you or increase your lifespan, then starve and have a certain guarantee of death? GMOs not only have a positive effect on poor people, but on the middle and lower class people as well, because, well, this world runs on money. So by buying cheaper food, we save more money that can be used for mortgages, bills, taxes, home maintenance, etc. And for the US, healthcare. This world is also advancing on technology and knowledge, so I believe there will soon be a vaccination for E. coli anyways. For kids that are so lucky to go to school, we get many vaccinations for free anyways. All we have to do is get a permission form signed by our parents, and ta-da! We are sure to get a vaccination. GMOs are made fast, so there's plenty of food as well. In any case, we believe there's a more positive than negative effect.
Potatoes are a good example of our breeding efforts. Over the centuries, traditional plant breeders have turned the wild potatoes that are still found in Peru into the wide varieties of potatoes that we can buy today. Because of these efforts, potatoes can be grown all over the world. The varieties of potatoes we grow today are different from their wild cousins. They've been genetically modified through traditional plant breeding, so every variety of potato differs slightly in its DNA. This is the DNA extracted from a single potato. DNA contains genes that make that potato what it is. Genes are sets of instructions for making different proteins. And it's the proteins that determine the exact properties of the plant. Genetic engineering involves adding an extra piece of DNA to a living cell. Scientists will have studied this piece of DNA for many years before putting it into a cell.
South Africa last year grew over 2 million hectares of maize. And this is very significant, and they are growing it because farmers in South Africa have seen their benefits in terms of reduction of pesticide use, in terms of yield increase, and convenience of farming.
Policy analysts view the adoption of GMO maize in Kenya as the delay of an inevitable outcome rather than a justified refusal.
One of the major challenges we have is that there is a lot of misinformation because the scientific facts of the scientific evidence generated over 15 years of experience with the crops has already demonstrated that the crops are safe to eat. They are saving the environment in that we are saving huge amount or huge volume of pesticides that is applied in the environment. And farmers are benefiting from the crops.
Globally, 29 countries have officially declared that they will be growing GMO crops on a commercial scale, with 19 of these being developing countries. The officials from the Kenya Millers Association and the African Biotechnology Stakeholders Forum are calling on the government to step up efforts to find a long-term solution to the recurrent national maize deficits.